If you're locked into crypto, then you will have probably had pretty high expectations for 2025, and yet here we are. Almost 25% off all-time highs for Bitcoin at the time of recording, 65% off for ETH, altcoins just slaughtered. Now, for sure, there's a lot of uncertainty right now around all the macro shit that's going on. But if markets are in defensive mode and they remain that way for a while, well, what happened? Did crypto fail this cycle? Well, it's an interesting theory and one that's been posited quite a bit recently on social media, and of course, price drives narrative. But let's take the black pill, break down the negatives, starting with the idea that there's really been no meaningful new innovation in crypto this cycle. So here's the thing. There's always been a lot of cash grabs in this industry. Number go up as the primary attention driver, and always will be. I always make the joke, number go up, tech is the best tech in crypto. But behind the money, there was always some kind of belief that something innovative, disruptive, and generally interesting was happening. At the start, that was just Bitcoin, right? Developed as a cypherpunk alternative to shitty banks and endless fiat printing. The idea caught on, was popular. Later, we got Ethereum, smart contracts, decentralized finance, alternative layer ones popped up, fundraising via ICOs, stable coins, NFTs, on-chain art, metaverse, all that kind of BS, right? Things got picked up on even by Mark Zuckerberg, who started building in the metaverse. Sounded like we might have some real substance being built. That was back in 2021, by the way. This time around, there was some innovation, but where was the belief in really big, exciting new ideas? The dominant narrative, of course, was zero utility bullshit meme coins. The big platform was pumped up fun, which flooded the market with billions of dollars worth of absolute garbage and extracted hundreds of millions of dollars from the market. Complete financial nihilism and a completely extractive, okay? The complete opposite of anything meaningful that was built here. And we had stuff like Eigenlayer, restaking Ethereum. Oh boy, we're gonna restake our Ethereum, guys. Didn't really get people all that excited. Data availability, oh Celestia, and also Eigenlayer doing that too. Yay, data availability, nerdy bullshit, nobody really cares. Now, AI coins did make a bit of a breakout this cycle, so we can say there was some interesting stuff there, but most of the AI agents were just LLMs wrapped up with tokens and pump and dumps and bullshit, and not really anything of substance to drive the kind of valuations that they were receiving. Basically, meme coins with AI chatbots attached to them. Again, not meaningful innovation that gets people super excited about the future of our industry, right? Now you might ask, okay, sure, Lark, all that fine, but what about Bitcoin? People clearly believe in Bitcoin, but even then, has Bitcoin underperformed this cycle? Well, this cycle has been really about Bitcoin. We got spot Bitcoin ETFs, mainstream marketing from BlackRock. We got a genuinely pro-Bitcoin administration in the United States, a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill, MicroStrategy buying, GameStop buying, more companies coming in than ever before. MicroStrategy now has 2.5% of all the BTC supply. But despite all this, Bitcoin only made a new all-time high of $109,000. Now, if that was just the first local top and we go on to $250K later, great. But let's just acknowledge that if Bitcoin only hit $109,000, that would sound pretty insane to people about 10 years ago, and absolutely a six-figure Bitcoin was amazing when it happened. But the reality is that compared to previous cycles, this kind of increase from its previous all-time high, okay, a little under 60% from 69K to 109K, would be super underwhelming if that was the top. Not a blow-off top, not an interesting top, not a compelling top to say the future of this industry is bright and exciting and it's a great investment asset class. Most Bitcoin bulls, even at the more conservative end, had much higher targets. Not to say those targets won't still be met. I think that was the first local top and that we are going to continue higher. So this short-term disappointment is a bit unjustified. Now let's talk about altcoins. They've had a very rough cycle. The major disappointment, if we're being honest, Ethereum, what a letdown. In price terms, it failed to match its previous cycle all-time high. Didn't even necessarily get that close. There are now questions around this $200 billion valuation. Is it really worth that much? Should it be worth 10 times less? How can value really accrue to the ETH token these days? Now, whether its days as a novel and exciting growth investment are now squarely in the past and Ethereum is the Nokia of crypto remains to be seen. But you might start pointing to Solana. As of all the altcoins out there, this was Solana's cycle. Perhaps Ethereum suffered as a result, but even then, Solana just barely broke above its previous all-time highs at 260 and got to 295, 300. Plus, if meme coins were kind of uninspiring, lacking innovation, then what does that mean for the future of Solana, which had a relatively good cycle primarily because it was the chain of meme coins? So if you wanted to trade memes, you generally bought Solana to buy meme coins. And it wasn't just major layer ones that had a tough time. It also looked like a lot of other things too. We're going to get into that in just a second. But guys, the one thing that has not been having a bad cycle, trading the crypto markets, because these are wildly volatile markets. And in that volatility is insane opportunity. Okay? People made huge money on the run up from November to December. People made huge money shorting the markets from January until now. There's been opportunities to long the rips and short the dips the whole time along. And if you need to do that as well, you need a great exchange to do it with. Primarily one that's available to everyone everywhere. That's BitUnix, okay? One of the hottest exchanges out there these days. Huge liquidity across all the major pairs. Great place to do your trading for all the major coins, as well as new interesting spot altcoins tend to list there pretty quickly. Long, short, buy spot. Anyone, anywhere can sign up. No KYC, no VPN, no BS. And there's even some sweet deals going on right now. You use that link down below. You get $10 for free to sign up. You're gonna have to a $400 deposit bonus. You put $2K in, you get $40 back, as well as a $500 trading bonus. Link down below. Go check it out if you are a trader. So let's talk now about previous narratives. You see, narratives tend to have pretty short lifespans in crypto, and that's could be part of the failed as a cycle, right? Things just never made comebacks. NFTs, gaming, wasn't it all just lined up to explode again this cycle? But it didn't. The metaverse, yeah, that hasn't been talked about in 4 years. Basically, none of these previous narratives did very much that was noteworthy this time around, besides some of the old NFT collections. Yeah, CryptoPunks and Fidenzas, a few other OG art drops. They've done relatively well. They do have lasting value as blockchain collectibles, but they are without a doubt the exception, not the rule. And just as old narratives stayed pretty comatose, everything except for nihilistic meme coin gambling and rigged casinos has kind of failed to be sticky. Now, one narrative that I got pretty excited about, I guess, hey, egg on my face to some extent, I think it will come back, but is AI agents. Projects like Cerebro and Hollow World and Virtual started gaining huge attention in the second half of 2024 and promised an entirely new vertical in crypto. Tokenized AI agents with launch pads and infrastructure that would support them, all kinds of new investment opportunities and novel use cases for AI in the cryptocurrency market. There was also DeFi, a mixture of DeFi, decentralized finance, and AI. And what's more, this is all tied in nicely with meme coins. So we have new AI projects that we're launching through Pump.fun. Basically meme coins, but with more on top of that AI built on top. So could AI agents replay the 2021 NFT mania? Let's say almost. If you got in early and sold on the way up, there were huge multiples we made. That all happened within a few weeks. Playing a combination of meme coins and AI agents through 2024 was really one of the only ways to make money. Okay, if you were trying to be smart and invest in good tech, you got your ass handed to you. You need to be investing in complete bullshit vaporware with no use case at all. But compared to NFTs before, the AI meta collapsed super quickly. Never even really broke into any kind of mainstream attention, right? It failed to captivate a real sense of belief. And talking of AI, this brings up one last point. Other investing sectors have simply been more interesting. And that's part of the reason why we are not seeing bigger bid for your hot blockchain. Okay, yeah, AI agents were very intriguing in crypto, but not as interesting as the actual AI companies that you can really own a piece of by buying stocks, right? Not bullshit tokens. Humanoid robots, self-driving cars, AI-generated Ghibli-style images, man. That's where the market's at right now. Space rockets, biotech, all kinds of stuff, okay? Personally, I like what's going on there. I've been spending more time and energy over the last year looking at some of these different things, how to get positioned for equity purchases outside of crypto into the robotics sector, the AI sector, biotech, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a major growth vertical for the future. And look, you might think, oh, that's all pretty negative, Lark, but actually my own take here is that crypto still has an incredible amount to give, an incredible amount to come. Every cycle is unique, and in fact, this one provided lots of ways to make money. You have to just be willing to adapt. Okay, meme coins were the thing. I know they're stupid, but most of the stuff's stupid anyway. If you were early to memes and early to AI agents, there were some huge gains we had. You probably love this cycle. Also, if you rode the Solana train from bear to bull, you could have made 20 to 30x, basically any size. There was even a Dino coin revival. XRP went up 7x in like 2 weeks. If you simply hodl Bitcoin from previous cycle or earlier, it was also good. You're doing fine. So my view is that we've seen this cycle as just growing pains. A whole stack of long-term positives keep stacking up here. Okay, and there's a lot of things to keep in mind. Bitcoin going mainstream, the legitimization of the whole crypto industry, the removal of regulatory barriers. We're going to get altcoin ETFs soon, the growth of real world assets, which is one of the biggest sectors in crypto and one of the most innovative, interesting ones in the industry right now. We didn't even talk about that, but it's a good thing. It's an exciting thing. Solana getting battle tested by the meme coin mania, all of which indicate a sector that is cementing its position and has capacity to deliver a lot more from here. Don't fake crypto. It's not going to zero. Don't believe the haters. Don't believe the bears. Okay. The fundamentals have literally never been better for this industry. Crypto has not and will not fail and go to zero. Oh, individual coins. Yes. The sectors, the industry. No. There's still huge potential for the average person to come into crypto. And if you can find an edge, whatever that edge might be, you're a meme coin trench warrior, you're a trader on BitUnix, whatever it might be. If you find that edge, you can make huge upsize returns. And it's hard with like robotics to get into, the Figure AI or the Apptronic seed round. Like, we're not getting into that, man. We're not. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give you access to that. Oh, they'll give it to their fucking rich VC buddies, man. Okay, they can write $1 million check out for that. They don't want your $50. They don't want your $1,000. They don't want your $10,000, okay? They're giving it off to VCs. We'll dump it on you later. It's how the game works. Crypto, it's kind of the same thing to an extent. The devs dump on you. Everybody dumps on everybody all the time. But in a weird way, the savage mercenary nature of it makes it a little more honest than all that bullshit. And it's much more open. Anybody can get in. Anybody has access. And that's always one of the beautiful things about crypto. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are. If you can have a wallet, you can play the game. And if you can find an edge, you can probably play the game well and make money. So crypto has not failed, okay? Has this cycle been more nihilistic up to this point than previous cycles? To some extent, yes, because of the meme coin nihilism. But AI has been big, and there has been some interesting innovation, particularly in crypto AI, okay? Real world assets have been big, and there's been some interesting innovation there as well, okay? And yeah, ETH underperforming has been lame, sure. But Solana outperforming has been awesome. So it all depends on your perspective. Crypto has not failed. Crypto is not going to fail. And you need to remember that. This is going to be an industry that is going to go on over the next 10 to 20 years to create a gargantuan amount of wealth. And I hope that you ride that wave. Thanks for watching.